Ya, halo semuanya, balik lagi bersama gua Arden di special session bersama Xbox dan juga in-game nih. Jadi Agi kerjasama bersama Asosiasi Media Game dengan Bapak Ketuanya nih, Dito Wangsa. Halo Pak.
Selamat malam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh semuanya. Selamat
Waalaikumsalam.
malam.
Wah, gila nih. So, ini a bit spesial ya, karena kita langsung datengin
Yes.
orangnya langsung nih, yang
Ya,
really bisa dibilang cukup megang platformnya nih ya, di mana dia adalah global
betul.
expansion dari kita akan banyak bahas tentang Game Pass, terus juga
Betul.
community-nya gimana, sebenarnya
Iya,
Southeast
iya.
Asia-nya tuh kayak gimana sih gitu.
Betul,
Dan
betul.
gimana nih Dito terkait dari
Dan
Xbox
yang
sendiri?
pasti ya, yang pasti ini kan sebetulnya ya, mungkin teman-teman halo dulu, selamat malam semuanya.
Yes.
Semoga siap dengan pertanyaan yang kalian pengen lempar. Wah, banyak nih yang pengen gue tanyain nih terkait Xbox gitu ya.
Yes.
Tapi mungkin kita akan kasih apa ya namanya, kasih satu ini dulu ya, disclaimer dulu bahwa
Yes.
memang kita di malam ini akan lebih banyak ngebahas tentang
Developer.
developer, betul,
Yep.
ekosistemnya terhadap Xbox dan segala macam. Jadi memang belum yang benar-benar pure buat kalian para gamers yang udah nggak sabar pengen nanya ini itu di terkait dengan Xbox gitu. Tapi tenang aja, kita akan coba amplify pertanyaan kalian di kolom komentar nanti yang bisa kita tanyain juga terkait Game Pass-nya karena ini kita akan menggebu-gebu untuk memperkenalkan orangnya ini pastinya ya.
Yes.
Karena
Betul
bertanya-tanya
banget.
nih, ini orang dari Xbox beneran nih? Ini apakah beneran tim dari Xbox-nya atau gimana sih gitu? Ini semua bertanya-tanya pastinya gitu. Bahkan di DM Instagram gue juga banyak yang bertanya kayak gitu ya gitu. Kok ini beneran dari Xbox kan? Apakah ini tanda-tanda katanya dan Xbox akan waduh, oh ya. Kita akan coba untuk jawab ya.
Betul,
Mungkin
betul, betul, betul.
iya.
Okay, without further notice, so
Hmm.
this session probably gonna be in English, guys.
Oh
So,
iya
tapi
benar.
don't worry, we gonna translate a
Iya.
little bit lah ya, bareng-bareng
Kita
kita.
akan ya pasti kita translate. Tapi kan takutnya jadi nggak nyampe ya. Kita akan
Iya.
bantu teman-teman semua. Oke, so mari kita
All right. So, without any further notice lah ya, we gonna introduce Jun-Shen from Xbox Global Expansion Incubator Manager for Southeast Asia, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. Welcome to the
Yeay.
stage, Jun.
Hey
Halo
guys,
Jun.
hey Aran,
Halo,
hey
halo.
Tito.
How are you
So,
today,
how are
Jun?
you?
I'm good, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we've been talking with Dito for a while that a lot of like Dito viewers just ask,
Hmm.
are you really guys from the Xbox? And what really that you do? I mean,
Because
could you just
they are all
introduce
very excited, Jun. They are all very excited.
exactly because
Oh man,
there's no
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is not ordinary just every day we talk to an actual Xbox guy. So could
Mm-hmm.
you introduce a little bit about yourself to the audience? I think the
sure.
floor is yours.
My name is Jun-Shen. I'm part of the global expansion incubation team for Xbox. And what it means is I work in the Southeast Asia region to support game developers and publishers to help bring their games and content to the Xbox ecosystem, whether that's on a console, on PC, Xbox Gamepass, which we're here to talk about, as well as like things like services like cloud. So really, it's my role is really developer focused, and so I spend a lot of time speaking to a lot of developers from across the region and Indonesia, of course. Awesome developers like Toge, of course, and Mojican, and a few
Yes,
others.
absolutely.
Amazing developers from Indonesia. So that's my job basically, and that's what I'm here to do.
I see. All right.
I think that's
Ah,
cool.
yeah.
So
Jadi mungkin gue harus terakin dulu ya ke teman-teman, mungkin ada yang
yes,
belum paham. Jadi Jun ini adalah bagian global expansion yang khususnya itu ngurusin bagaimana game-game di khususnya Southeast Asia, Taiwan dan Hong Kong tadi ya.
yes. So Southeast Asia,
Itu
Taiwan, and Hong
Southeast
Kong.
Asia ya, Taiwan dan Hong Kong itu game-gamenya bisa masuk teman-teman ke dalam Xbox Gamepass. Kayak yang kita udah lihat ya, minimal yang kita udah kenal ada Calvi Talk, ya kan.
Yep.
Lalu upcoming June, there will be Coral Island, right? That's from Indonesia, I think.
Sorry?
Coral
So the
Island.
upcoming from the Game Pass, I
Upcoming
think
from the Game Pass day one,
Coral Island
there will
also,
be
right?
Coral Island from Stairway Games.
I believe so. It's all I can say about that.
Oke. Ya, jadi seperti itulah role-nya Jun. Jadi itulah sebabnya kenapa Jun nggak bisa terlalu menjawab yang mungkin pertanyaannya terlalu gamers banget terhadap Game Pass-nya. Jadi fokusnya akan terhadap developer. Tapi kita tetap kita akan coba untuk bantu. Oke, Arden, silakan.
Okay, thank you so much. So before started,
Sure.
so we're gonna talk about the start of the show, about the Game Pass program. So
Alright.
what is the Game Pass program, and is it hard for Indonesians to be into the Game Pass program? Could you explain a little bit more, Jun?
All right. So I think given what I understand, we've got a mix of developers and gamers in the audience, right? So maybe I'll give a brief overview of Game Pass in general. So Game Pass is really designed for all our Xbox players worldwide to sort of discover new games from like a curated catalog, right? So if you're familiar with Game Pass, if you used it, you can see that there's like a very specific set of different games that you can try and you can play, all ranging from games from Xbox Game Studios, you know, some of our biggest franchises like Gears of War, Halo, the Forza series, of course, but also a whole ton of different indie games that's, you know, been released on the service, including, of course, Coffee Talk recently released on Game Pass as well. And so, you know, the whole idea with it is really it's a way for people to try and discover different types of games, games that they might have never played before if they had to buy one, or games that they really love and they wanted to play on an ongoing basis because Game Pass allows you to do that. So that's what Game Pass is all up, you know, for gamers. But I think for developers, it's really a way to have your games reach a wide audience, right? We've got over 25 million players on Game Pass at this current time, and it's a way for your game to reach people who may never have played your game before. So our data shows that 9 out of 10 Game Pass subscribers try new games after they join. You know, so that's really amazing. And an average game on Game Pass sees an 8.5 times growth in audience versus before they join Game Pass. So that's really, really amazing. So Game Pass players are like some of our most active players. They're spending more time playing games, spending more on content. So I think for game developers, this is a really great opportunity.
Yes, also because like the Game Pass, really I do subscribe to Game Pass as well.
Awesome. That's awesome.
and then like my habit like changed a little bit, like because when I go from other platform, I can just I'm kind of like, oh, I really did paid full game from this, so like I couldn't just buy all the game on the platform, and then on the Game Pass I could just discover more games and then all of the stuff like that. So I think that's kind of I would say the benefits, because
awesome.
we do kind of like explore more, especially for the indie games as well. Probably Dito, what do you think about the Game Pass for the is there any, I mean, do you like explore more about the Game Pass?
Of course, since here's Jun here, so I will say, well, that's no. Game Pass is actually good because especially when Game Pass is reaching out in the developer Jun, I love it because I don't know, I really love indie games. They're wild. There's something always new about it. Sometimes we are bored with AAA games.
Yes,
sure. Like it's always shooter games, good graphics and so on and so on. And here come indie games like Dead Doors. You brought Dead Doors that time, and then
like that's great.
Recently there's Moonscars, hack and slash game. That's cool. I mean, like, then it's Coffee Talk, of course. Of course. So I hope there's a lot more Indonesian games or Southeast Asia games can come to Game Pass. So like you say, it can reach a wider audience.
Yep.
Awesome. And like, those games that you mentioned were really cool. I'd love to hear of what you guys are playing right now. I think that'll be a fun conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. So I do couple of like Umaragi, like
Oh
the
yes, the
photo thingy.
photography game. Yes,
Yes, that's awesome.
super
That's
great game.
because
What a concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
because
Yep.
that's indie weird game that I'm really crave. You
Yeah.
know, some
Yes.
some weird shit game, even though
Yeah.
like
And
in
anyway,
between.
for your information, Grounded is out
Yes,
for a full release,
That's
right?
right. 1.0.
Yeah, 1.0. So
Great,
yeah,
great game.
go on with Grounded. I think it's gonna be cool.
Oh, okay. So I think the follow up question would be for developer. What's the end to end process when I try to put my games on Game Pass? Probably Chris from Togi could answer that, but you know, because he's in here.
There's Chris
So I think
in the comment
I think
section.
could you explain a little bit more about the end to end process?
Yes.
What is it really hard to do if you are from Indonesia, and then is there a legal stuff going something around that? Probably you could explain a little bit more about the end to end.
Sure. Look, I think if I really went into a lot of detail, it might take too long. So I'm going to
Yes.
try to keep it simple and easy to understand. Uh, the most important thing about getting on Game Pass is starts first with signing up to ID at Xbox. So if
Ah,
you're
right.
for a developer, regardless of whether you're from Indonesia or from some other part of the world, you just need to sign up to ID at Xbox, and it's really
Mm,
simple. You just go to xbox.com/ID, and then you sign up. And we really take on all developers and encourage all developers of all sizes to sign up, right? So once you sign up at ID Xbox, we find out about you and then we speak with you. So that's why
right.
I'm here. I'm here to speak with developers face to face, over calls, at events, to hear more about the games that they're making. And so that's really like the best part because I get to hear from the developers themselves what are the cool things that they're making, what's so exciting about their games, and then that's the first step. The second step is once we hear about your game and we learn more, then we will do our own internal evaluation, right? So
Mm,
there's a whole bunch of people at Xbox whose job it is to make decisions on hundreds of games that come our to Xbox, and so we need to figure out, what sort of games do we want to support, right? And supporting a game can come in various forms, but for the purpose of today's talk, right? If you want to know how a game gets picked up for Game Pass, it really comes down to, do we think this game would be great for our player base? And we
mm,
try to look for a wide range of games. So we're not just interested in like AAA games that are really polished or high quality in AAA fashion. We're very interested in interesting different types of experiences. That's why you get things like Umurangi. Like
yes.
it's a very very different type of game
Yep.
experience. But it's something that we really love to bring to players. And so what we always tell people is that whatever game you make, you should share it with us because
Mm,
we are very open and we are very interested in a diverse range of games because we have a diverse range of players who want to play all sorts of different things, right? So it starts first with sharing about your game with us. We'll do an evaluation, and that can take a number of months where
mm,
we will play the game, we'll do our evaluation, we'll go through the numbers. And look, if we're very excited for your game, we'll start discussing a deal. And so essentially, we'll speak with the developer, or maybe if the developer has a publishing partner, we'll speak together with everyone,
mm.
where we'll come to terms with a deal that everyone's happy with. And once everyone's happy with the deal, we'll sign a contract, and then we'll get started on the certification process, which is essentially making sure that the game can get ready to be brought to the Xbox ecosystem, whether that's for both PC and console, or one or the other, right? So we help the developer through that process end to end. So there'll be technical support, a ton of documentation. So it's a fairly straightforward process with our help. And then you get access to like the dashboard, which is
Mm,
very much a case of, how do you set up your store page and all the information,
yes.
get access to Xbox features. So we'll take you through that process, so you never have to worry about it in the initial,
I see.
like at the start. But really, what's most important is you share your game with us, and we love to hear about what game you're making.
Yes, so that's more the important one.
Yes.
Oke, kita jelasin
Create
sedikit ya
account.
pakai bahasa Indonesia ya.
Yes.
Jadi, wah itu simpel banget dan nih.
Iya bener.
Itu simple
Kayak
banget. Sebetulnya
intinya.
dari yang dijelasin Jung sih simple banget. It's so simple. I mean like just okay, you sign up blah 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 and you do the evaluation, you just wait about it. Jadi lu tinggal sebetulnya kalau kalian adalah teman-teman game dev nih ya, banyak ada Mas Boy juga di sini, ada Mas Chris, ada Mas Adam, ada teman-teman. Tentunya itu adalah proses yang tidak sulit sama sekali. Jadi tinggal sign
Yeah,
aja,
so yeah,
tinggal perkenalkan game kalian. Nanti dari timnya Jun di sini akan langsung berbicara dengan kalian. Kalau mereka tertarik akan di follow up. Setelah itu nanti akan ada internal evaluation. Itu mungkin
Yep.
akan memakan waktu. Is it a month? You say?
it
Gitu.
depends,
For the
right?
evaluation process,
Oh,
So the
depends. Okay,
international
yeah.
evaluation,
I
depends
honestly, it really depends on the game.
Yeah,
And
it depends.
to tell you the truth, you know,
Mhm.
some games take a little longer than others.
Yeah.
We have a ton of games in our pipes, so you know we
Yes.
have to take our time to make sure we evaluate each one properly.
Yes, jadi gitu
Yeah,
ya.
so-
Jadi waktunya memang tergantung dari game kaliannya juga. Dan tentunya itu prosesnya setelah itu ya udah nanti dibantuin secara teknis pun, technicalnya
Yes.
juga dibantuin, disupport
Yes.
juga dari tim Xbox ya. But I just have one question about
Sure.
this. So far, Jun, what is the hardest things in this process? I mean, like,
Yeah,
this is-
I'm
yeah.
curious about that also.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
curious about. Yeah. You say it
what's
like
the
it's so
hardest
simple,
part
Jun, but
about the
I'm really
right
curious. What is so hard? Is it a porting things or I don't know? Maybe
Is
there's
it like
something-
you
Mhm.
pick the evaluation process, or like
Right.
could you share a little bit
Yes,
more
sure.
about the
Mhm.
you know the dynamic of this process?
Okay. I mean, honestly, like, yes, you're right. I make it sound so simple, but maybe like developers in the chat can probably share a bit about the experience. I know I can see Chris is in the chat, so you know, if Chris, you wanna drop a note about what you find to be a mega pain point,
Yeah,
feel free. I'm very open to feedback. But look, for me, I think it really depends on the developer, right? So
Mm.
you know, if you're an experienced developer who has experience working with Xbox,
Mhm.
I think the process to getting your game to launch in public is probably less painful because you know you've gone through the process and you've got support.
They know
So I
their way.
think then, yeah, exactly. And I think it's less about that and more about the time it takes for us to evaluate your game and then figure out, you know, what's the right deal, or maybe if the game is suitable to be brought to Game Pass. And then for other developers who are maybe first-time developers who've never developed for Xbox, right? They're like, you know, they've only focused on Steam before. We need to help them a little bit more, right? And for them, you know, we have actually a person who's attached to that account, who's dedicated to answer all the questions, make sure that they're clear on like the documentation and the process to certification, and make sure that they are supported on that journey. But of course, you know, I think for first-time developers, it's like a learning curve, right? You know, you gotta get started with that, and that can take, I think, I would say estimate maybe a month or two, you know, for you to go through that certification process, depending on when your game will launch on Game Pass, certainly.
Okay, that's interesting. So I think the hardest part is to make sure that you assess it truly and fairly, probably like that, right? And make sure that we don't. So we do have Arif here. Hi, Arif. So I
What's
think
up, Arif?
there's a lot more of others than Indonesia, probably. I think for Southeast Asia as well, I think that's kind of the same process as well, right? It's supposed to like standardize the process, right? So
Yeah, absolutely,
I'm
absolutely. It's a standardized
I'm
process across the board.
I'm interested about the business models when you talk about the assessing thing, right? So when we go, let's say Steam or like
Sure.
Epic Game Store, something that upfront payment, the premium games. So
Yep.
what's the different from the standardized conventional, like you pay upfront and then you have it forever. Through the Game Pass business model in the perspective of me as a developer
Okay.
and the game studio, is it like um, so probably Dito make a game and myself make a game as well. So
Nice.
if my games, if Dito games is being played by more people than me, is that affecting the revenue, or like a lot of like free to play model is kind of like that, right? The more people to play, the more um, we're kind of curious about the business side of things. Is
Sure.
it like what's the business model of Game Pass compare as a subscription, probably,
Okay.
as the point of view of the developer?
Sure. So I think is a little bit of a complicated question, and I'll
Right.
try to simplify it, but also at the same time give you like a basic like idea, right? I
Right.
don't think I can go into too much detail
Right.
right now because of time. But the first thing I'll say is that we work with each developer, studio, and publishing partner individually. So the deals are
Mm.
very custom to the individuals based on the game that they're bringing to the table, the potential for the game, and then we hope to come to an agreement that makes everyone happy, right? That's the most important thing. But it's also one that we think the deal is indicative of what we think the value of the game is on our platform, right? So that's the first thing. Then I would say the most important thing for you guys to note is with Game Pass is that we have a licensing model, right, where we pay an
Mm.
upfront licensing fee for the inclusion of your game on Game Pass for a certain time frame. Usually it's 12 months, right? So usually we make a deal. It's like for here, this is a specific amount of money for 12 months on Game Pass, and that's a deal that we will make with individual creators, studios based on their game, right? So but the licensing fee is obviously great, and obviously a great source of like funding and sustainability for developers. But it's only one of like a few opportunities for partners once they're on Game Pass. Because once you're on Game Pass, you benefit from our marketing, right? Which is like,
Yes.
like our full global scale marketing. We make sure that your game gets seen, heard about globally, so that not just people from the region, but people everywhere in the world will get to try the games from this play from Indonesia, and that's the most important thing. And then there's also a performance bonus, and basically the
Mm.
performance bonus is
Oh,
essentially how much time do you spend in our top games list, right? So obviously,
Oh,
we have like most popular played games on
yes.
Game Pass, and so if your game hits our top game list, you get a performance bonus, and so I think everybody wins in that regards. Um, and if let's say you have a free to play title, that's a little different. Without going into too much detail, we don't typically pay for licensing fees for free to play games, but
Mm.
instead we help drive value on Game Pass through
okay.
marketing for your game, right? And in perhaps your game might have the ability to drive additional value for Game Pass players, right? Where you can have like in-game items or
Yes.
skins or cosmetics that are exclusive to Game Pass users, and we help promote that. So in order for you to drive more playtime of your games, which is the most critical thing if you're a free-to-play game. And then last but not least, and this is probably the most critical thing, we believe that partners who get on Game Pass get a significantly higher post-sale monetization, right, for
Mm.
titles. So it means that if your game's on Game Pass, we generally see that Game Pass players spend more on like post-sale monetization than regular Xbox players. So if your game has microtransactions, players who are playing your game on Xbox Game Pass generally spend more on microtransactions than regular Xbox players. So
Mm.
that's licensing fees, the performance bonus, and then the post sales transactions. There's a lot of ways in which I think game developers can benefit from being on Game Pass.
I see.
Oke. Ya, ini benar sih, ini benar sih. Memang pasti ini adalah yang paling orang banyak penasaran gitu. Model
Yes.
bisnisnya kayak apa sih? Model
Benar.
bisnisnya seperti apa? Dan ya cukup ini ya, cukup jelas ya.
Yep.
Kurang lebih mungkin
Straightforward,
kalau
I think.
kita straightforward. Jadi Jun di sini bilang bahwa memang model bisnisnya adalah nanti secara masing-masing secara individu akan ada deal-nya tersendiri dan
Yes.
itu nanti pastinya tentunya akan beragam. It depends on the game and so on, right?
That's
It's
right.
gonna be different. Every single games, every single studios maybe had a different deals. Dan nantinya bakal ada, ya itu yang tadi gue gak kepikiran juga adalah itu tadi dan the after sales ya benar
Post
juga
sales, right? I think
Yeah.
yeah, you do have like monetization, yeah,
Right.
add-ons. I think a
That's
lot
Yeah.
of
right.
games have a little bit of add-ons, right? That's
Mhm.
add-ons also. So I see.
Ya, jadi buat teman-teman yang gamenya adalah game free to play, tadi Jun
Hmm.
bilang itu memang tidak ada deal seperti yang game yang non free to play ya.
Licensing thing, yeah.
Licensingnya itu tidak ada, tapi memang tetap dibantu lah ya untuk bisa ada di platformnya Xbox Gamepass dan ya itu karena live service jadinya bisa menunjang lebih banyak lagi
Yes.
transaksi untuk microtransaction. Oke, nice.
Dan tadi Jun sempat bilang bahwa game yang ada di Game Pass perform more into the post sales
Betul,
monetization.
bakal ada yang namanya. Jadi kalau lebih perform, ini it's count by play hour, Jet.
That's
Or
right.
just like
Oke. Oh ya, jadi yang
play
lebih
hour.
lama dimainin, lebih banyak yang main, lebih lama, nanti ada lagi reward untuk performance gitu.
Yes.
Gitu. Jadi kayak we can say like bonus, right? Bonus.
Well,
That's
let's
right.
let's say bonus because of
Yeah,
like
let's say bonus.
people actually you do have a little bit of audience and then top all of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Next.
Dito, do you have any question first or may I?
To be honest, I had a lot of questions, but this is your first one, so
Okay.
go on.
The next question would be like, is it possible to highlight Indonesian games if there's a lot of like probably Southeast Asia in general?
Sure.
So in the Game Pass Indonesia region,
Yeah.
do you have any like we're gonna talk more about how would you strategize the Southeast Asia region for the Xbox, because we gonna go through from business model to the strategy. Could you explain a little bit more about, is it possible to be highlight? Is there any future campaign for Xbox
Yeah.
to push the Southeast Asia games?
Sure. Look, I personally would love to see more Indonesian games on Game Pass, of course. I'm biased. I have a lot of friends in the Indonesian dev community that I would love to see succeed, but also it's why I'm here now representing Southeast Asia, right? It's because we want to see more games from Southeast Asia and Indonesia succeed. So I'm very biased, and I want to see all of you succeed. So I will do my best to make that happen. But of course, I can't promise anything concrete. But all I can say is that everyone at Xbox, including our ID at team and our global marketing teams, are really avid supporters of all the incredible games from the region, and super passionate to see all your games succeed. We've obviously worked with Toge for the longest time. As a case study or an example of a developer we're very passionate about with the games that they bring. And so I'm super excited to see more of their games and everyone else's being highlighted for sure through our global and regional campaign. So that's what I'll say as number one, right? And I think in terms of like strategy, there's a few things that we think about. So for one, leveraging our Xbox marketing channels globally and our ID channels. So for once, like showcasing like games at major events. So for instance, we had the Xbox showcase in the middle of the year, and we had Coral Island feature as part of that showcase, and that was incredible, right? So I think that was amazing. But of course, we also had a few other Southeast Asian games, like Cabaret from Malaysia, like that featured.
Gigabass as well, right?
Absolutely, Gigabash, right? So and then we had Tokyo Game Show recently where we featured Ghost Lore, which is from Singapore, and then like Legend of Tianding from Taiwan in our montage at the end. So my job is to make sure that more of these games from this region get featured at these global events, and there are going to be many more opportunities in the future. Like E3, hopefully next year, that's going to be an exciting one, and hopefully we can bring more games from this part of the world there. So that's one. Marketing, that's amazing. The second thing is that we want to make sure that we help these developers do better with their own marketing efforts, right? So, for once, we want to connect you guys to our in-house experts so that we can help provide advice or guidance on the best times to launch your games or the best ways to market your games. And we have like education, like workshops and webinars that you guys can attend that like share a bit more information. Okay, how do you make use of the Xbox marketing store front? Or maybe like, you should think about launching during this period of time or that period of time. Maybe you got to avoid the like AAA window, right? Which is typically the holiday season, which is now till the end of the year. It's crazy with all the AAA games. So maybe you think about a early January to March release, right? Something like that. We've talked to developers about things like that as well. And then finally, last but not least, like, we want to work more with like local community
Yes.
players that are super passionate about working to highlight games. Like, people like Dito, who's doing such an incredible job for Indonesia. And then like Arif from Malaysia, who's doing a lot for SEA as well. And then, of course, like all the local media, right? You got Virtual C, Kapicho Pare, and then all the other gaming media outlets who are all doing great jobs spotlighting these games. We want to figure out a way to like partner with them so that we can work together to like just highlight games all up.
Yes, I think that's good. That's why we do have Dito on this session.
Yeah, absolutely. So glad to meet you when you introduced me a few weeks back. And it was such a pleasure, and I'm glad we're talking.
Thank you
for sure.
Thank you.
Gimana,
Iya.
Dit? Boleh
Apa
lah
tuh?
ditranslate a little bit nih kan dia memuji lu.
Enggak lah, pasti Jun itu senang banget bisa kerjasama sama banyak media di Southeast Asia lah. Dan ini juga Jun, there's a lot of people in the comment section cheer up for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like Jun, the champion for seeing the games. Like, wee, woohoo. Thank you, Jun, for always promoting Southeast Asian indie games on your socials. They say, like, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, Arden silakan untuk ditranslate. Yang tadi tuh yang sebelumnya apa tuh tadi panjang banget.
Enggak, tadi intinya
Mungkin intinya ya.
Jun also working with the let's say local content creator as well.
Betul.
Jadi untuk collaborate bareng-bareng, promote organically gitu ya. Just promote organically about the game itself. So I think you put an interesting takeaway from this because Southeast Asia really thrives on communal experience.
Yes, 100%.
And then we're gonna talk a little bit more about the community right now.
Yes.
So, okay, Dito probably would ask more community for the local creator, etc., like that. But me as developer, I don't think we do have or like heard of like a lot of like let's say Xbox developer community in general. A lot of the hubs. Like, is there any? Is it possible? Is it like things that we there is community about that, but we haven't heard of it or we didn't optimize more through it? Is that how would you take on probably the ID Xbox of Southeast Asia? Probably like that. It's like,
Sure.
Is that something that on your would say planning hand or something around that? Could you explain a little bit more about the maybe the community of the developer, because that also would help to educate how the process, all of the stuff, could you explain a little bit more about how the community would say influence the growth of the market itself?
Sure, I'd love to. So I think I can talk a bit more about the community from a developer perspective, but I think for Dito's benefit, happy to share a little bit about gaming community as well. I think that's also obviously of interest. So I think to start, our developer community for Xbox really isn't like a focused community where it's like, we want to try to bring people in a closed space together. I think I would rather look at it more like want to be a part of the existing community.
I
You
see.
guys have a thriving community that's been here since the very beginning, helping each other make games, help each other like promote your games. And like, that's the most amazing thing about Southeast Asia, right? So it's not
Yes.
about like trying to make a new community that you all have to be a part of. It's about how can we be a part of your
I
community
see.
and help you do more of what you guys are doing already, right? So, I've spent a lot of time speaking with Ardan and the other people from Agi to ask and understand, like, okay, what do you guys need more of, right? Is it like you guys have a talent issue where you need to up level like the community like skills so that you can make better games, and then like I take that information back to HQ to understand, okay, should we make more education materials? Should we like bring some of our experts from our first party studios, like our like Halo or Forza, whoever, who can come and talk to the Indonesian game devs if that's
Wow.
like what you guys need, right? So like things like that is what we love to be a part of in the
Mm,
community. So that's what I think being part of the community means. Of course,
Yeah.
like we've got a new community manager who just joined, and she's looking after Southeast Asia with us. And her goal will be to like maybe set up a Discord channel that you guys can join and get some information more easily from us. But really, it's about how can we like be a part of your community? How can we like be in your Discord channels? How can we like listen in on your talks and like hear what you guys want to tell us more of? I think that's the most important thing. And then similarly with the gaming audience, I think the gaming audience is one that exists already. Like you guys are playing the games and you guys are talking to each other, and so it's more about how can we listen to what you guys are saying and get feedback from you guys. So that's why I was so happy to meet with people like Dito, because I want to hear what the gamers are telling us, and then I can take that information to my gaming marketing team who looks
right.
after the gaming community, right? So if I can't answer the
Yeah.
question, my teams who look after the gaming side can answer it for me. And so that's what I think is the most important part about being part of the community.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
think the
great.
same thing. Gimana toh?
That's
What's
wow.
your
If I don't know. Is that actually already happened, or that's the idea, or I don't know.
Well, you tell me. I've only just joined Xbox like now it's like been 4 months,
Okay.
right? I've not been here
Whoa.
very long, right?
Okay. Okay.
And
All right.
and before this, of course, our team, our great team in the U, who's based out of the US mostly, have spoken with developers on a one-to-one basis. But I think now that I'm here in the local time zone, my goal is to try to be more present with the local
yes?
communities
Yep.
and like show up to these kind of talks more, or like go to events like IGDX in a few
Yep.
weeks time, or Level Up KL next week. And that's the plan is for me to be there and hear you guys on the ground. So you tell me if I'm not doing a good enough job, that's also okay, and you got to let me know how I can do better for sure.
But you,
So,
what you told before, that's great. If the
yes.
really things that Xbox do with the community, even if it's our community, like gamers community or developer community,
Yes.
whatever it is,
Even like
that's really great.
as June said that Jude could really connect us with the, let's say, Halo developer, all of this stuff. Maybe we
We
can
always
also
think,
like,
is that possible, Jun? I mean, like, yeah, we really want to talk with them. Like, I don't know, maybe
That's
every
awesome.
developer
Yeah.
games
yeah,
really, really want
exactly.
to
I
network.
think to make sure that I don't. So here's the thing that I've been in this Indonesia developer community since, would say, 2012, 2013. I don't think the talent is there. I would say that, but the fact that we do need direction, we do need like how to level up this thing, right?
Yeah.
And as you mentioned before, if we could really learn from the expert, is we can really learn from the one that actually create their favorite games,
Yeah.
and probably you could connect more into, let's say how to grow the market, especially
Yeah.
could do more if they already on Game Pass, how we could, create more for the next game, something around that, right? Especially how to market the game itself. I think because a lot of like indie games, they really focus on the games and
Yep.
then
Yeah.
not really into the market, like the things,
Right.
right?
That's a good information. And then like in Indonesia, game developer is really focusing about the game too,
Yep.
and somehow they forget about how to publish the game, how to market the game, and so on and so on. Yeah,
They don't really
that's
have
yeah, yeah,
personal
right, right.
experience on it, right?
Yeah, I have a personal experience about it. So if you guys from Xbox could help us to, you know, face that kind of things, maybe that would be great.
Yeah, we're here and more than happy to help with whatever you guys also need. I think in my experience, game developers are good at making games, right? And I
Yes.
empathize. It not necessarily means that they're the best at marketing their games, and sometimes they need help, and that's why publishers also exist, right? Publishers are great
Yes,
because
Exactly.
they do
exactly.
the job of
Yeah,
marketing when the game developers just want to focus on making the best games. So I think the whole point is that the ecosystem really depends on each other to succeed,
Yes.
and like it's a community, right? So as long as we're all here to help each other, I think that's the most important thing. Yeah.
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 Yes.
So I think that you want something to add, Dito, first before I go to the next
I
question?
just want to shout out for Xbox Indonesian community. And Jun maybe here can say hi to all the guys from Xbox Indonesian community. There's 21,000 members right now.
Damn. Okay. Damn. Okay. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
and that's a lot.
That's a
That's a
Twenty-one
lot.
lot.
thousand. Yeah, there's in Facebook, and all the member are active. They are
Amazing.
very
Amazing.
excited to play on Game Pass. They
That's awesome.
really love to buy Xbox Series S in Indonesia. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
that's one
exactly.
symbol. Exactly.
Yep,
Xbox
yep, yep.
Series S is like everybody's winners. Like, yeah, I will choose Xbox Series S because
Mm,
it's affordable. It's
borderline mate, I would
yeah,
say,
yeah,
right?
borderline. Yes,
It's
exactly.
so hard to find.
Exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So I
Yep.
just want to shout out about Xbox Indonesian community and say to you that we now have 21,000 members.
That's amazing. Well, it's kudos to you guys. I'm so blown away by the number when you mentioned it. I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of people.
Yes.
That's awesome. I really love that you guys really enjoy playing on the Xbox and get on Game Pass, and it's so awesome that we could bring Game Pass to all of you for sure. And look, like we want to continue bringing more games to Game Pass and more amazing things, whether that's from Indonesia or the rest of the world. So as long as you guys continue to find value and enjoy it, that's really what we love to see.
Yeah, so there is a question, I think a statement from the audience from World of Risky,
All
say
This
that
is
right,
I
one
think
of
that
our Indonesian media, World of
yeah.
Risky. Yeah.
all right, awesome.
So he say that I think that we should build here in what should we build here in Indonesia is mutual understanding
Mm.
about game industry, publisher, developer, and expert gamers communities to build this industry even bigger in Indonesia. That's why we're here, guys.
Hundred
there's
percent.
Jun and Dito and Arun as well, and me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there is a question about DevKit.
Yeah.
So, may I, Dito? Do you have any question for?
No, no, no,
Should I?
no. Good.
Okay,
Eh,
cool. So there is a different kind of Xbox Game Pass, right? Which there is the one from for PC and the one for the console as well.
That's right.
So if we want to do through the console, and could you talk a little bit more about the Xbox Dev Kit in general?
Yeah.
Is it legal to ship the Xbox Dev Kit to Indonesia? How hard is it to get the dev kit and kind of like how's the process to get those? Is it like should we get the contract first and then go and get the dev kit, or is there any way to put the Xbox to test on the Xbox, et cetera, et cetera, like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a really important question. I'll be honest with you. It's a really important question and a really complicated one to answer. Simply because there's a lot of like things happening right now that we are figuring out in terms of like supply issues and like getting the dev kits into the hands of developers. So I can't really say too much about like the complication right now, other than that we are looking at ways to bring more dev kits to Indonesia, right? So I'm actively having those conversations with the right people internally to ensure that we can get more dev kits to developers like Milzam as well, who I think he asked, right? He's how can he acquire a dev kit, because the last time we couldn't send it last time. To be frank with you, because I'm also new to Xbox, it's something that I'm figuring out and learning as I go. So I don't really know what was the too much of the complication that happened before where we couldn't send it, but I know that now we're actively looking at improving the situation. So I think moving forward, so like I think if let's say you're a developer now, like today, you sign into ID Xbox and we approve your game, and we really want to see it on console. You should be able to apply for a dev kit, and we'll figure out a way to get in your hands. It might take a little longer than normal, but I think we're looking at solving this issue for sure.
Yes, and also as long as you officially registered as an Xbox developer and you do have like working relationship with Xbox, we'll figuring out, right?
I think one thing that I'd love to hear from you as well, Ardan, and whoever else can comment on this is, I think the complication is like two-sided, right? Like one is like
Right.
we've got supply issues on Xbox's side that we need to figure out, but also like with respect to like the regulations in Indonesia, things like customs and like taxes. So like to what degree, like is that something that can be resolved, or has it been resolved currently, and is it something that we need to like talk about in a more serious manner as Indonesian Association as well as with Xbox?
Yeah. To be frank with you, for the shipping kind of the legal of the shipping is just like sometimes the government doesn't really recognize it as a dev kit, but
Okay,
recognize it as just a toys, an Xbox in general.
sure, sure,
So I think if we could also what I call educate the government,
sure.
like this is
We educate the government, like it's pretty
about
hard.
the the
We
production. So it's not a toy,
we have
but
to
it's a
admit, Ardan, we have to admit that here in Indonesia, that is something. You're right, Jun. Like,
but I think, yeah,
yeah,
but I think it's not like it's just like dev kit is not something that commonly used when we
Sure.
compare to the whole industry. When we talk about
yeah,
production, like let's say what I call making a cloth or something like that, making an industry, something like that. That's so clearly in the you know in the form of like heavy machinery.
Yeah,
But like when we talk about more like dev kit, I think not only Xbox but like a lot of like console, it still need to educate the that's this is not actually a toys, and this is like things that probably we could go together probably
yep,
off of this.
100%.
But like, yeah, so
mungkin gue mau
we,
translate sedikit dulu kali ya, Dan, ya.
yeah,
Tadi
yeah, boleh
siapa tahu
boleh.
ada teman-teman yang pengen tahu. Jadi tadi kita ngebahas sedikit mengenai dev kit. Jadi buat teman-teman mungkin yang ya seharusnya sih memang udah pada tahu ya dev kit itu, what is dev kit and why a developer need dev kit. Tapi gue mau coba kasih tahu sedikit di sini, siapa tahu belum tahu. Jadi untuk sebuah proses porting juga dan testing dan segala macam untuk sebuah platform, itu kita butuh yang namanya developer kit. We need developer kit to test our game and so on and so on. Dan
100%.
itu biasanya dikirim dari pihak ininya Xbox ya gitu, ntar dikirim. Nah tadi ditanya Jun, susah nggak sih sebetulnya dapetin dev kit untuk teman-teman kita di Indonesia? Jun bilang ya kita akan usahakan, tapi memang juga ada beberapa yang harus apa ya, dan ya kalian tahu lah ya, gitu kan kadang-kadang ya kita juga tahu ya, mungkin dari pihak customer kayak dev kit, what is it, kayak gitu, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's look really similar with the real thing, right?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
It's actually
different
really
kind of
similar.
functionality, but like, it's just a toys, something like that. Okay.
Ya mungkin masalah itu teman-teman ya.
Yes.
Anyway teman-teman, kalau ada yang mau ditanyakan ya, kalau ada yang mau ditanyakan boleh langsung drop aja di kolom komentar ya. Nanti ini waktu kita udah tinggal 10 menit lagi seharusnya. Mungkin 10 sampai 10 mungkin kita bisa extend 15 menit lagi.
7 minutes left, would say that, but like
ya kita bisa, we can stretch a little bit, but
yes.
Go on. Kalau ada yang mau ditanyain silakan. Arden lanjutin dulu, masih ada a bunch of question for you Jun here from Arden. Go on.
Alright.
Okay. I think we gonna talk more about the survey. Can we do that first? So guys, we do really want to hear more from you, and we do please do participate in the survey called bit.ly/xbox_agi. So this strictly from really sorry for Dito and the gamers. So this is mostly for the developer. So we really do wants to know more about what you need. I think Jun has mentioned before that Xbox and Agi as well really open about what really you guys need to make sure that when June comes for the HDX.
Yes.
They know June and his team know what you actually need and starts going on. Let's say more faster for call to action, probably like that, right? So they already know the problem, and then really wants to know about what you really need, and if you do have any question for Xbox, we do include them in the end of the survey. Probably 1 or 2 word, June, for the survey. Do you want to add more about the survey?
The survey is really the best way for you guys to share your input about what is it that you guys want to hear more from Xbox about. If you have any really like burning technical questions that you need us to go in a way and like get you an answer for, we can also figure that out, because I'm not the best technical person. I told Arden before the call that, like there are a few questions that probably best if I get some answers from my experts to answer around, like, how do we think about like bringing a PC game to console and things like that, where I think it's better suited for more technical expert. But other than that, I also just want to hear what you feel about the Indonesia games scene right now, and how can we help support and make it better. So the survey is really important, and so I really appreciate all of you who take the time to fill it out.
Oke, jadi gue terangin lagi juga, ini ada survei buat teman-teman game dev di Indonesia ya, Dan ya?
Yap, betul.
Untuk membantu, to help Jun here from Xbox to know better about what's your trouble, karena akan ada Jun di Bali nanti ya, di GDX Conference ya. You will be attending there?
Yeah.
IGDX,
October,
yes.
IGDX.
Yes, I'll see you guys there.
See you in IGDX. Dan kalian bisa langsung ke itu tuh, bit.ly/xbox_agi ya. Jadi bisa di, tapi ini untuk game dev ya, untuk teman-teman game dev yang isi surveinya. Nanti buat komunitas, buat gamers ada nanti. Tapi itu banyak.
Santai aja ya, santai.
Santai aja pasti ada, tenang aja gitu.
So
Nanti juga mungkin Jun, maybe if there's I don't know, any AMA, right? As anything session like this for gamers, maybe I can invite some of Xbox community member, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love for us to have that chat as well. I might need to bring to the tables and
Yeah.
someone from the gaming side who who's looking after the market from that sense. But certainly, I think it's an important conversation to have. So we can definitely chat more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
okay,
Ardan,
I
lanjut Ardan.
think we left a little bit surprised. So we do a raffle. We do
Yes,
a raffle, a Game Pass code for this survey. So please participate on this survey
Woohoo!
and put on your email on the
Yeah.
bottom of the survey so we
that's
could
right.
raffle on the Game Pass. I think a month free of Game Pass. I think that would be great for
It's a 3 months PC Game
Oh, it's
Pass.
It's a
3 months.
3 months.
That's
Woo!
even better.
Yes, that's even better.
So please
Right.
please
So
do for
yeah.
developer to fill out the survey as well so we can raffle it. So
Yeah.
mungkin dalam bahasa Indonesianya kita mau undi ya, basically ya. Kita
Iya,
ada
kita mau undi. Jadi buat teman-teman game dev yang mau ikutan, ya harusnya ikutan aja lah. Nggak ada salahnya juga ya teman-teman ngasih feedback juga. Nantinya juga akan ada benefitnya. Apalagi nanti kita ketemu juga di IGDX Conference
Yes.
kalau kalian datang ke sana. Dan di sana Jun harusnya bisa lebih menjelaskan lebih banyak lagi mengenai Xbox dan game dev di Indonesia. Jadi kalian bisa isi di sini dan ada bonusnya kalau ada undian Xbox Gamepass 3 bulan.
3 bulan.
Yo.
3 months, right?
3 months, right.
Yep, exactly. So, we do have 2 minutes left for the session. I think we're gonna close it out right here. Do you have any one or two closing statement from this session, June? Like shout out to Indonesia or Southeast Asia developer as well.
Yeah, sure, for sure. First of all, thanks for hosting this, Arden. Like, I really appreciate that you helped put this together, and we talked about it for a while. Dito for coming on board and like sharing your thoughts and speaking. Really amazed about the community and that you guys have built. But seriously, like, thanks so much for being so welcoming. Like me starting out for Xbox and speaking to a lot of developers. I think the best thing was that everyone I've spoken to across the Indonesian dev scene have been amazing, and the amount of talent is just crazy. So really, really, really want to make sure you guys do well on the global stage. So that's what I'm here for. You know where to reach me. I'm on Twitter, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Just reach out, let me know, and I'm more than happy to chat. So
Could you put your Twitter handle probably?
I don't know how to do that on this thing, but
You could
I'm sure.
you could put it on the private chat so I could put
Right. Actually, I think it's way easier. Like if you guys go to the Agi's Twitter page, you probably will find
yeah,
my Twitter
exactly.
handle there. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. There is a June that quote the tweet from Agi.
Yeah,
So
I did.
if you could really look for a June Twitter handle as well. Do you have any
Look, Arden, I have some question for Jin.
yeah,
All
sure.
right, go ahead, man.
Jin, you are a gamer, right?
I am a gamer, yes.
You play something from Game Pass. So far, yes. What a longest game you play on Game Pass?
Oh man, I have been playing quite a number of things on Game Pass, but if you had to ask me what I really love to play, it's like games like Vampire Survivors. That's a really crazy cool game. Can you imagine that one guy made that game, right? And it's a game that's super successful, not just on Xbox, but on Steam and other platforms. So for me, like, it's a game that I feel like I wish I made because it's like so incredible in an idea. I love Vampire Survivors a lot, so I've been playing a lot of that. Obviously, I play a lot of Halo, and I play Halo because I'm a first-person shooter guy. So I play a lot of shooting games.
Oh,
So Halo's sort of my jam. I play that a lot. Forza Horizon, of course, if you're talking about AAA. But in terms of like the indie games, I'm also very interested in a lot of the very different, interesting types of games. So, they recently released one called Immortality, which is like a game about filmmaking. And then there's Metal Hellsinger, which is a rhythm
Yes.
game about like heavy metal, which I love.
I mean,
I'm a huge heavy metal guy. So games like that. Slime Rancher, is a really awesome.
Slime
Slime Rancher is a great game. So I play a lot. I play a lot of games. So, but I do spend a lot of time on Game Pass as well.
Oke, thank you. So itu guys ya salah satu game yang dimainin sama Jun dan bisa jadi referensi juga buat kalian. Ada Slime Rancher, and there's Vampire Survivor, and then
Yes.
of course kalau
Yeah, I did play Immortality as well. Like that's really interesting concept.
Very
right?
interesting concept. I wouldn't say
Very
it's like the
interesting
easiest
concept.
game to like get into, but I just love the way he like used film, but it's also like you could like investigate, and I found it very, very like different.
Yeah, that's right. Immortality guys, ya kalau kalian mau coba ya. Tapi itu gamenya memang agak berbeda ya. Jadi kalian jangan kaget ya dengan pendekatan cara bermainnya.
A little bit different, yeah.
A little bit different, but it's unique.
So I think Dito, do you have any closing statement for this? Because
Thank you so much,
probably...
Jun. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jun. And I really can't wait you pass something to your team and brought up something like this for
I would
our
love that.
gamers,
Yes.
our community. Yeah, I really excited about it. So thank you so much.
Especially for those like 21K members.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's great.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you, Jun.
Okay, I think the last for me. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this AMA. Really great session. We do understand more about the Game Pass, the business model, how we can put on the we do know more about the what I call performance bonus on it, the licensing model, all of this stuff.
Yes. Exactly.
And I just want you guys to know that Agi, Xbox, and in-game really work closely together, so to make sure that we do have working relationship together to educate the market, to educate the developer, and to also let's say lowering the boundaries, would say that to for the ecosystem in general. I think that's for me. Thank you for this
Maybe
session.
last. Jun, could you brought some event to Indonesia from Xbox? I don't know. Maybe someday. I really want to see.
That one I cannot promise. I will have to leave that to my gaming marketing team to decide. But I would love to see something for Indonesia for sure. I can't promise anything right now, but it's something that I'm thinking about.
Oh guys, dia belum bisa janji, Jun belum bisa janji. There's no promise about it. Tapi we are very happy if that happens someday. I don't know.
Yes, but don't worry karena Dito kita bareng-bareng closely working together to make sure there is probably a little bit more collaboration as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much everyone for coming. Hopefully there would be more of this to be, to make sure that Indonesia game dev in general, Southeast Asia game dev in general would grow to the Xbox ecosystem as well. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Take care everyone.
Thank you, Jun.
Terima kasih semuanya. Bye
Terima
bye
kasih semuanya.
guys.